All right, so welcome to Advanced Toastmasters Online. This is an online meeting, and here are some online meeting tips. Mute yourself when you're not talking. You can toggle your video on and off if you are eating or stepping away from your seat, but we do like to see you, so keep that on when you are in the meeting, please. You can adjust your view. This view here that you're seeing on the screen is called a gallery view, and if you want to switch to a speaker view, you click that speaker view button at the top right of your screen. In order to send notes and questions for the speakers or words of encouragement, click on that chat button. Please do that in between the speeches so you're not disturbing the speaker while she's speaking or he's speaking. This meeting will be recorded, and it's our policy that by being in our meeting that you agree that a recording will be available publicly on YouTube channel and on our website, as well as any other social media where it happens to be shared. You can find out more about joining our club or becoming a member by clicking this link where it says become a member, and there's a little information there. And at this time, I'd like to say welcome to Advanced Toastmasters Online, and I am your Toastmaster for today, so I'm going to go ahead and read our particular mission of our club. And our club's mission here within Advanced Toastmasters is we are an Advanced Toastmasters club which supports maverick leaders to have more impact by providing advanced feedback on leadership skills and discovering what it means to be an out-of-the-box innovative leader. Today's theme is just-in-time leadership, and I'm going to stop sharing this just to give you a little, my thought on this theme was just-in-time leadership it came to me, the idea, just-in-time leadership, and then I had to go search, what the heck is just-in-time leadership? So in my searching, I realized it's just leadership that's in the moment, responsive to what's happening in the moment, as opposed to lots of leadership training. We have leadership trainers, lots of leadership trainers in our club. But this idea of just-in-time leadership is more about leadership in the now, in the moment. So just kind of think about that as you go along your day today, and think about how I believe that this is kind of the way the world is going to have to move, because all the kids have smartphones, so they're all growing up. Everything is just in time. Their knowledge is just in time. We can print books on demand, and everything it just seems to be a just-in-time experience. So that's my invitation for today, is just to think about how you can possibly be more of a leader in the moment, as opposed to trying to teach a lesson that will help somebody in the future. I think that's what I'm getting at. So thank you. And our meeting is going to be in 3 sections, like all Toastmasters meetings are. Our meeting today will have our prepared speeches, then we'll have the table topics, and then we will have our evaluation. And I need a timer. So is there anyone who would be willing to help with the timing today?
I signed up for that a little bit ago.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and I also signed up to speak.
Right. So I'm somehow without my phone today. So I will, if you could time other things and we'll get somebody else to time you while you're speaking, that would be great.
Yep.
Thanks. And at this time.
Do we have an evaluator for Tammy?
I can evaluate her.
Can you give me a written evaluation as well?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
And so timer of the day, would you like to share what your role is as timer?
Sure. I will be timing our speeches, table topics, and evaluations. I will hold up green. I know it looks backwards. That's the whole magic of camera. So green card when we get to the 5 to 7 minute speech. This will be my yellow card. And they kind of look a little bit alike, so I have it written on there yellow. And red is red. Oops, red is red. That will be at a 7 minute mark for a 5 to 7 minute speech.
All right, thank you. And we can see your words perfectly, by the way, Tammy. So, and at this time, I'm going to
Yeah.
ask Mark to come on and share his responsibility as the grammarian. Mark, can you unmute yourself and share what your role is today?
Yes, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. As grammarian, my responsibility is to monitor the language used in an excellent capacity, those areas of improvement, the turn of a phrase, unique terminology. Additionally, I will be responsible as odd counter, and I will monitor any fillers, odds, ums, as, and report on both together. This is an excellent opportunity for us to work on our language skills, minimize filler words, and replace them with bridges. Thus, therefore, whereas, whereby. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mark. And at this time, I would like to introduce our first speaker. And our first speaker today is Andrea Sanger. And she's going to be speaking from the Humorously Speaking Manual, her 4th project, Keep Them Laughing.
Excuse me?
Yes?
I didn't give you the word of the day.
Oh, yes, please give us the word of the day.
Okay. Effectively. 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 Done with great care or astuteness. Something that is done well. Okay.
Thank
It
you.
is an adverb, and I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark, for effectively sharing that word of the day. So our first speaker this morning, again, is Andrea Sanger, and she has her Advanced Leader Bronze and Advanced Communicator Silver, and today she's giving a speech out of that Advanced Communications book, Humorously Speaking, project number 4, Keep Them Laughing. The title of the speech is An Introvert's Worst Nightmare. As an introvert herself, she has been living with this her whole life. She has a few observations to make on coping with being an introvert in an extrovert's world that can help us bring light to dark places. Please help me welcome Andrea Sanger as she talks about an introvert's worst nightmare. Andrea Sanger.
Thank you. How many introverts does it take to change a light bulb? None. Why would you want to change a light bulb? People might want to come over and visit. How many extroverts does it take to change a light bulb? A whole room full, because then they can have a party over a new light. This is a contrast that I have lived with my whole life. In fact, this is something that recently happened in my family, and it's where the title of this speech came from. My nephew-in-law, who's also an introvert, had to meet incoming parents for the kids at his university. He told my sister this story, and my sister responded with, "Wow, that sounds so exciting." He looked at her and said, "No, that's an introvert's worst nightmare." Both he and I know that as introverts, having an event like that will give us an introvert hangover, which means we will be so exhausted at the end of that we won't want to talk to anybody for months. All my life, I've been prodded to get out and meet people, to get to know new people. I've been accused of being shy, standoffish, and uncaring. I prefer to describe myself as quietly observant, waiting to speak until I have something of value to say. But why bother? Those people who complain about me all the time don't listen anyway, so why should I even talk? My observation has been that introverts in the United States have been undervalued for years. I mean, really, who thinks that groupthink and sitting in an open concept room to share the problems to solutions is a good idea. All that motion and noise, that's not a place where I can work. Are you kidding me? In fact, I was written up in my last job for actually sitting in my cubicle and getting my work done. Wow. And I was reprimanded and punished for that and put in a place where I was looking directly into somebody else's eyes all day long. Yes, I listened to them talk on the phone, type on their keyboard. Well, you can imagine all the noises people make all day long. I had to experience that. And my productivity tanked. Well, I had to compromise with my boss. And our compromise was that I came in the afternoon, I answered phones, sat in that place where I looked at my coworker all day long. And for 4 hours, I answered phones and was very pleasant to everybody who was around me. Then when everybody went home, I had 4 blissful hours to get all the work done that I could have done during the day. It was awesome. And in fact, after that, I got written up as being a team player. Can you imagine that? Well, I did learn a few things, actually 3 valuable lessons at that job. The first one was the bathroom is generally a safe zone of no talking. And on some days, I'm pretty sure some of my coworkers thought I had intestinal issues. Number 2, if you put headphones on your ears, even if there's nothing playing, people won't talk to you. It's awesome. Love headphones. And number 3, get an extrovert to walk into the room just ahead of you. And then sneak in and sit down very quickly at the chair closest to the door. And everybody will think you've been there the whole time. But it also gives you an escape route so that you can go back to number 1, the bathroom. Fortunately, though, the introverts are becoming more valued because of people like Susan Cain, who wrote Quiet, The Power of an Introvert in a World That Can't Stop Talking. Businesses are going back to having cubicles or spaces where people can actually go and think and contemplate solutions to problems. Yay! Also, historians and others are recognizing that introverts who have made a significant influence on our world, like Mother Teresa, Bill Gates, Albert Einstein, Rosa Parks, Abraham Lincoln, J.K. Rowling, Dr. Seuss, Warren Buffett. Yay! Lists like that makes me feel so good about being who I am. I don't have to apologize or make excuses for being an introvert anymore. I can get by myself, get masses of work done. In fact, I can get as much done in the time it takes an extrovert to call their long-lost friend. You know, the one that they met last week that they just have to talk to? Well, I want to thank all of you, my online fellow Toastmasters, for allowing me to stay in my safe zone at home to meet with you. This is the opposite of an introvert's worst nightmare. However, I still get to use the excuse that I have been very social for the last hour and a half, and I don't have to talk to anybody for the next couple of days. Yay! As I turn the meeting back over to Dawn, I would love it if you would go to your chat box and look and see what the newest social media, a viral social media thing is going on for introverts. Back to you, Dawn.
Thank you, Andrea. Always so much fun. Our next speaker for today, Tammy. And Tammy Lang recently spent 5 days in Jamaica with her husband, Randy. This was their 4th visit to this resort. And Tammy will share some pictures from her trip as well as a little background about Jamaica to inform you as to why you should plan a trip to Jamaica. This is coming from the Speaking to Inform manual. Speech number 1, the speech to inform, and why the title is Why You Should Visit Jamaica. Please help me welcome Tammy Lang and why you should visit Jamaica.
All right, I'm going to share my screen, so bear with me 1 second. Hopefully this will work. All right. A couple of weeks ago, my husband and I journeyed our way for the 4th time to a resort in Jamaica. The first picture you're seeing is my husband and I. We flew first class this time, which was kind of exciting for us. First picture without the drinks is 6 a.m. leaving Lincoln, Nebraska. We looked pretty bright-eyed, but not really. The second picture is our second flight from Atlanta to Jamaica, where they served us first class. I had a mimosa and he has some champagne. So we started the day off really well. When we get to Jamaica, if you're not familiar with this, at their airport, they have Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. And in case you're wondering where that lost shaker of salt is, we found it in Jamaica. So this is actually right outside the airport as you're waiting to load on your bus. You can actually have a drink there and really kind of get relaxed. You may not be able to see on that table, though. It talks about your flip-flops, which is mentioned in the song. So very much, again, a way to kind of experience the Margaritaville in Jamaica. My next slide, we somehow got upgraded to a honeymoon suite at their resort. And we had this lounger area to sit and watch this TV. It was separate from the bedroom. We had 2 balconies. And we were really kind of surprised to have this beautiful room. Here's some other pictures from our room. We have this huge walk-in closet. We have this huge pedestal bed. You don't know how short I am, but I had issues getting in this pedestal bed. And then we had this beautiful walk-in shower. Of course, we didn't spend a whole lot of time in the room, but it was nice to have a really nice, relaxing room. And the people in Jamaica that work at these resorts are so happy to have you come visit there. And they give you anything you want in your rooms, that kind of thing. Because if you didn't know this, Jamaica's #1 place of business, who they make their money from, is tourists. So they appreciate us tourists. These pictures, finally we made it to the beach on day 1. I'm enjoying my first beverage. The second beverage with my thumbs up, that's my favorite drink, is called Purple Rain. Now when you go to these all-inclusive resorts, they will give you all the food and drink you want. If you don't like the drink, you just pour it out and get another one. But if you get a chance, try the Purple Rain. This is a view from our balcony. This is the second day, and if you can just see how beautiful it was. We just got to go spend time quietly on our balcony and enjoying the beautiful view. Again, the resorts really cater to you to want to make this experience very special for you. We also discovered the second day that we couldn't find a quiet place that was in the shade that we could just relax. So we upgraded to a private cabana. So these pictures are from our private cabana. And my husband already, with his Norwegian blood in him, was already sunburned. So be careful when you go to Jamaica. If you're not used to the sun, it doesn't take long because we're so close to the equator to get sunburned. So this is us enjoying our quiet time in our little private cabana. I mentioned the drinks. You might, after this speech, think, Tammy may have a drinking problem. But you do this once a year and you enjoy yourself. One of the servers says, what do you want? I go, I don't know, some kind of fruity drink is fine. So here's me with my goofy looking fruity drink. I don't even know what it was. The other picture is the view we have from our private cabana. So we just got to enjoy the beautiful view. Now, it may look like it's going to storm there, but it never rained the whole time we were there. It's interesting the way that these clouds roll in and kind of roll away, and the tides will change and the winds will come up, but it never did rain, even though it's hurricane season right now in Jamaica. This was one of our servers. His name is Eric. He's bringing us a drink called the Dirty Banana, and it actually has chocolate liqueur, and it's a hint of banana. So it's a nice breakfast drink, if there's such a thing. And you can see I'm enjoying my drink in the pool. That particular pool, this is Commandant Resorts too, had a swim-up bar. Not that okay, I did. I use a swim-up bar. This is again our view. I have to give you a little story about the girl on the floaty thing there. She was Miss Selfie. She spent the whole day taking selfies of herself. In fact, she almost fell down those stairs when she was taking selfies of herself. And this picture, she's making her boyfriend take selfies of her. The other picture, another big part of Jamaica's economy is their marijuana, which is illegal. They want to keep it illegal because they can make more money off of it as an illegal, not criminalized drug. Those people along the fence, they're on the other side of the resort, and they're offering you marijuana. I promise we did not go there, but you can smell it. It's part of the culture. I love to swim. My husband does not love to swim, so this is me in the ocean enjoying the beautiful water. Or if you've ever been in the Caribbean Sea, you just float. It's just so amazing. It's so refreshing. And my husband's attempt to walk in the water. Again, just beautiful culture, beautiful scenery, and just beautiful weather every day we were there. Our Cabana girl's name was Judy, and that's her right there with me. She took good care of us every day. Got to know her a little bit. Found out Jamaican workers at these resorts work 6 days a week, 16 hours a day. We don't do that in America, so I was impressed with their work ethic. This also was our anniversary, our 19th wedding anniversary, so we were enjoying some champagne in the other picture, our last night we were there. We went at the end, we had a middle of September, we came back to Lincoln, Nebraska, and this is the weather we've came back to. And it literally has rained every day since we got back on the 26th, and it's been cold every day. So I personally am ready to go back to Jamaica. Would you like to join me? Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tammy.
And I hope somebody timed me.
Yes, Doug
Okay.
timed you. And thank you, Doug, for timing her. And I am going to fix my screen here. Okay, so we are going to move on to the next section of our meeting, which is our table topics. And our wonderful physicist, Doug, has offered to be our table topics person or master for today. So Doug, you can unmute yourself and get started. And please help me welcome Doug Thiessen.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. For the table topics, I want to challenge you to take a side. As a maverick leader, that's something that we have to do. There's always going to be issues. And we have to choose sometimes what issue is more important so that we can lead on the direction that we choose for that issue. So I'm going to give each person 2 choices, and you have to pick a side and tell us why one is better than the other. And I'm going to start with Mark. Mark, tell us which is better, dogs versus cats. Mark.
Thank you very much, Mr. Table Topics Master. For me, it has been a unique journey. I recall growing up, we had a dog, and the dog and I just did not get along. And we kept that dog for 8 years. So when it was the dog's time to go to dog heaven, I didn't shed a tear. On the other hand, I had a girlfriend, and she had a cat. And there too, the cat and I did not get along. I can recall an occasion in which we were going out and I changed from business attire to casual attire. And we went out, and when I returned, the cat had gathered all of my clothes in a pile and left me a brown present. So ultimately, neither. I am not an animal person, similar to what we heard about being an introvert. There are environments in which one can prosper or relationships that one can have. And for me, I prefer neither a dog nor a cat. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Mark, for effectively telling us your position on that topic. Dogs versus cats. The answer, neither. Julie, I'd like to ask you the next question. You want to unmute yourself and take a position on day versus night.
I am a morning person. I like to wake up at 5 o'clock when the birds begin singing. And at 6 o'clock, eventually, be already at my computer and meet other Toastmasters. But when I was young, I always liked daytime. I could never learn anything after the dark. So I woke up at 6 o'clock to be able to study before I went to work. And then I went to work, and then I came home, slept a little bit, and continued until the dark came. So yes, when I begin to be stand-up comedian, I thought it is not possible I can go out at night. And then I discovered I can have a siesta afternoon and go out at night. So even night is possible when you really, really want it.
Thank you, Julie, for telling us day versus night. And it's fascinating to think that, or to find out you're a stand-up comedian. That would be fun to hear at some point. Andrea, I'd like you to tell us your position on up versus down.
Thank you. Up versus down. Well, most of my life I lived in Seattle, so California was down. Now I live in California, so Seattle is now up. I'm not sure which I like better, up or down. I think I like being down, so I am looking up at the world and seeing all the amazing things that are going on. That way I'm small and people aren't quite noticing me as much. And really, as an introvert, that is my total goal in the world, is to be small enough or quiet enough that people won't notice I'm around. So up from the down position, from down here looking up, is much better. Although I have to say that when I was a kid, being the smallest one in my family and always having to look up, you know, when you're that small, you're always looking up into people's noses, and sometimes that's not a good thing. So I think I can't decide if up or down is better, but probably being in the down position is better for me. Thank you, Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you, Andrea, for being a maverick and not taking a side overall. Tammy, I'd like you to take a side and tell us which is better, chocolate versus peanut butter.
Oh, really? What if you say yes to both? Okay, because Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, I think, is a food group for me. This is a really hard question. If you told me I could only have one, I probably would say, well, then let's just go with the chocolate. Because chocolate is rich and creamy, it melts in your mouth. You can add it to maybe a coffee cup and make it a nice, yummy drink as like a hot chocolate. Peanut butter is a little more messy. You know, it gets sticky on your fingers. Excuse me if I say if you give it to your dog. I know we had a little dog discussion earlier, but it's fun to watch a dog eat peanut butter, but don't give your dog chocolate. So the peanut butter thing is kind of a kid treat too. When you were younger, maybe you had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So maybe we might think of we have to outgrow our love for peanut butter, maybe mature enough to go into the whole love of chocolate. So if you make me choose, I will go with chocolate because it's a little bit less messy, a little less sticky, and it's probably more of the grown-up food that we as adults probably need to eat. So I'm going to go with, against my better judgment, I'll go with chocolate.
Thank you, Tammy. That was a tough choice, especially in Ohio where we have Buckeyes, which are treats with chocolate and peanut butter together. And of course, Reese's peanut butter cups are the best. So Dawn, you get the last question.
Yay.
This was actually a question that I got at a table topics contest one time. And I'd like you to take your position on this versus that.
Oh, yeah, great question. So I am a person who typically by nature likes to think the grass is green on the other side. So that would typically be where I look. However, as I mature, I am finding that this moment, this meeting, this friendship, this adventure is what I want to focus on. Because if I'm having this experience and I'm thinking about that experience, then I'm not fully living this experience and it takes away. So to answer your question, whether I'm a this or that, what stance do I take, or what do I believe in, or where would I want to be more, I would like to be in this moment as opposed to that moment, no matter what the moment is. It's always a this. So thank you very much for that question. Back to you, Doug.
Thank you, Dawn, for taking that position, and thanks to everybody for taking a stand and being a leader in making a choice. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you once again for just a very effective table topic. So thank you very much. And the next portion of our meeting is the evaluation portion. And Andrea Sanger is going to be our general evaluator today. She's had many hats on today. So Andrea, could you please take over as the general evaluator?
Thank you, Dawn. Yes, as the general evaluator today, my job is to evaluate the meeting, but also to evaluate the evaluators. So at this time, I'd like to introduce our first evaluator, Doug Thiessen, who gets to evaluate me, but really I get to evaluate him, evaluating me, so that he can finish his Pathways project here. So Doug, here you go.
Oh, thank you, Andrea. Now to evaluate Andrea. She was working from the Humorously Speaking Manual, project number 4, Keep Them Laughing. The objectives of this project are to prepare a speech that opens with a self-deprecating joke. And she did a great job with that. I think she opened very effectively with the jokes on both introverts and extroverts trying to change a light bulb. We had a good laugh, and it really set the stage for the whole speech. So that was nicely done. Then the other objectives are string together 2 or 3 related jokes in the speech body, and of course, close the speech with a humorous story. And so I was wanting to look at how effective were the jokes, how would transitions between them, were they relevant, were they connected well to the flow of the speech. What I found is that Andrea wasn't really telling us, in my opinion, jokes throughout the speech, but at the same time, she kept us laughing. So I guess maybe it's a semantic thing. What is a joke? Because I think she had funny statements all throughout, but they really weren't necessarily jokes per se. They were witty, they were amusing, definitely relevant in keeping us informed about the trials of introverts, particularly in an open office environment. But at the same time, definitely relevant, and the whole flow of the speech was very good. Her closing, again, it was funny, it was personal, so yeah, she closed with a good story. One challenge I would give for Andrea was the very closing of the joke. She referred us to the chat and, you know, had given us a statement, become a social vegan to avoid meat. And, well, I guess I didn't for a bit get the joke, because I was thinking avoid meeting people, but of course vegan is, you know, no meat, so that actually, it took me a while to get, but I wasn't sure, was Become a Social Vegan the name of a book she was recommending? No, it was just a funny statement. So maybe make that just a little bit more clear, particularly where, you know, half the sentence was in capitals like it was an actual title. So there's just a little challenge there, but overall, I think the speech went very well. It definitely kept us laughing, which is exactly the name of the project. I had a great time, and I can very much relate to the trials of being an introvert, because that's definitely where I am. So overall, great job, Andrea. You effectively accomplished this one. Back to you.
Thank you, Doug. I'm going to have fun evaluating you. Now I'm going to move on to Tammy's evaluator, Dawn. Can you evaluate Tammy, please?
Do we want to give a minute or two for the
sure.
round up?
Doug, would you like to do that, or do you want me to do my own round robin here?
Oh, I can take that. It seems appropriate. Okay. Who would like to start? Unmute yourself and raise your hand. Dawn.
Oh, Andrea, you know, you are just too funny. And I'm also an introvert, so I really appreciated that you took, maybe not so much as you, an introvert, but you took some information that you were learning about yourself and presented it in a way that was funny and enjoyable. And I may have more things to say in the chat box, but thank you so much. I appreciated it.
Thanks, Dawn. Julie, I see you're unmuted. Did you want to add a comment?
Yes. I would like to add a comment that if you told the same story, which you told, sadly, really sad, and not like you enjoying yourself, we would have laughed more. Very strangely, we laugh at people who are unhappy, who don't have everything well, and that doesn't see that she will tell a joke or something funny. I really like the same story. Try next time to do it. You know, I couldn't work anything. They were all there making noise. They were working. They were clapping their computers and so on. And you see, they are laughing. But the same story, because the story was very good. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Anyone else? In that case, back to you, Andrea, as the general evaluator.
Thank you. And I'm now going to go back to Dawn so that she can evaluate Tammy.
Yay, thank you. And thank you, Tammy. And part of my challenge of being a good evaluator is to do this in a third person. So I may I'm learning and struggling to do that. So please bear with me. I appreciated Tammy's speech in the fact that she brought us on this journey through a vacation, not just, it was one vacation experience, but she shared with us at the very beginning that she's been there several times, that she loves Jamaica so much that she has traveled there. I think she said 5 times. I didn't write the number down. Yes. So that was kind of getting us started, like her love and her passion for traveling there. She was able to kind of ask us and invite us to be a part of that journey with her. So that was very effective, I thought. The way it's a speaking to inform speech, and she was informing us throughout her speech about the Jamaica, the people of Jamaica. There were many points of kind of like knowledge or learning throughout that. The marijuana people on the other side of the fence, a little history about how Jamaica's economy works, and it was naturally woven into her story of being on vacation. And I really enjoyed the fact that she shared with us her story through her drinks. I'm not a drinker, but I loved looking at those different drinks and seeing that they were all so many different colors. So like different color for every different time of the day. So that brought a lot of, I don't know, kind of variety to me as I was watching. The only thing really, Tammy, that I would suggest as far as when you're doing a presentation using the PowerPoint is, I'm not sure that you knew that your PowerPoint was also showing the next slide. And at the very beginning, I thought the whole thing was your slide. So I was looking at the next slide as part of that, a part of your talking point that you were speaking of. And then that was the next slide's talking point. So that was a little confusing for me. So I think for all of us, when we're doing screen or doing presentations, going in and trying it out beforehand is important. I know that it's also a challenge for me as well. So I think at this time, that is all I have to say about Tammy's speech. And I'd like to open it up to some other comments or some other suggestions or words of wisdom for Tammy. So if you would like to unmute yourself, if you have some words for Tammy, it'd be great. Anyone? Andrea?
Tammy, I have also shared my screen while doing a speech, and with PowerPoint, you can fill the whole screen and not see any of the rest of it. You will probably, though, have to go into create your own Zoom account and try it out so that you know how it feels when you do it. And that's how I figured out that you really could share the whole screen and not see all the stuff coming up. But other than that, I love your speech. Thank you.
And Doug, go ahead.
I really enjoyed the speech. I wanted to follow up on what Andrea was saying. Tammy, do you have 2 monitors or just 1? 2. So yeah, I think the way PowerPoint can work is that one is full screen and the other kind of shows what we were seeing as well. And so probably you might have been sharing the wrong screen to Zoom. And that might actually be the issue. I don't know Zoom well enough to tell you how to fix that. But I think that might be something to kind of look into, practice with Zoom a bit on that. Overall, though, I did very much enjoy the speech.
Any other comments for Tammy on her speech? We have a couple, like another minute or so if we need it. Anyone else want to share something? Just FYI, this same link, you can click on this Zoom link that's our meeting link anytime. It's kind of like an open room for our members to go in. You can meet each other, just practice and share in there, and just letting you know that you don't necessarily need your own account to do that.
Yeah, I think last time I gave a speech with PowerPoints, I figured it out, but I realized after I started, I didn't switch the setting. I thought, do I try in the middle of the speech and switch it? So I apologize. Thank you, though, for the hints. Yes.
Yeah, great. Great. Okay, and so at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to our general evaluator, Andrea, so she can do her rest of her evaluations. Thank you.
Right now, I'd like to go to our grammarian and have him give us our his report for the day. Mark.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. Excuse me. As advanced Toastmasters, you made my job very easy today. And I will endeavor to effectively give you the feedback that is needed. Everyone spoke well. Let's be careful, however, with our hard consonants, the P's, the G's, the T's. Additionally, with regard to our speakers, Andrea, I loved introvert hangover. That just creates a certain imagery. And your appreciation for headphones. Love headphones. I thought that was great usage. Tammy spoke about her travels, and I loved and I appreciated journeyed our way. It's almost poetic. Doug used the word of the day twice. Let's be careful with add-ons of prepositions. I heard on a few occasions, kinda, K-I-N-D-A. It's kind of. So let's make sure we get that out. I noticed in certain cases that the pacing was rapid. Let's not forget that we're telling a story. We're sharing our points of view, thoughts, etc. So bring it down so that everyone can benefit from the wonderful presentation that you are delivering. And as far as I'm concerned, we've done a wonderful job today, and I look forward to the next gathering. Back to you, Madam G.
Thank you, Mark. Wonderful evaluation of our grammar today. Now, Tammy, I'd like to hear what you have to say about our timing.
Sure. Andrea's speech was a 5 to 7 minute speech. She clocked in at 6:19. I spoke for 6:13. Thank you, Doug, for timing me. For our table topics, we're looking for 1 to 2 minutes. Mark was 1:38. Julie was 1:20. Andrea was 1:11. I spoke for 1:13. And Don spoke for 1:11. So we did a great job on our table topics. For our evaluations, we're looking for 2 to 3 minutes. Doug clocked in at 3 minutes and 5 seconds, and the round robin was 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Don's evaluation was 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and the round robin was 1:39. And that.
Thank you, Tammy. Now I'm going to evaluate. Actually, I'm going to do the meetings first, and I'm going to save the evaluators till the end. Everybody, you did a great job, coming in during your lunch hours and whatever time you're coming in. Julie, I'm not sure what your time is, but coming in and being prepared for the meeting is great. Thank you very much for that. Filling in extra roles, everybody who filled in extra roles or helped those people who were doing 2 roles fill out their roles. So Doug and Tammy, you did a great job there. We also had a lot of really, considering how many people were here and how many roles everybody was taking, we had fairly good, smooth transitions. There were a few bumps in the road where we could do a little bit better and think about how we're going to make some of those transitions and not forget to do round robins or that we needed to do words of the day or other things like that. But overall, we did a good job at that. Doug, you had the table topics were awesome and so much fun. And we got to learn some things about the people in the group. I thank you for that. Overall, I think that starting on time is really important for us, but also ending on time, because most of us are on a schedule of some sort since this is the middle of the day. So I'm very thankful that we remind each other that that's something that we need to do and that we stay on time with things. So great job, everybody. As far as evaluations go, Doug, always a great evaluation. Thank you for evaluating me. I like that you go in and I think that it's something that all of us kind of need to remember if we have it available to us, is to share with the group what the objective of the speech was so that we can all be on board with Doug or whatever evaluator is working so that we know what they were evaluating and why they evaluated the way they did. It's very helpful for us to know that. Also, you stuck primarily to the structure of my speech, which was also very helpful, as opposed to Dawn, who talked more about the story that was going on and how we got engaged in it. That's an effective way to also do an evaluation, but I'm not sure that it actually helped Tammy improve her speaking abilities. So I'd like to encourage you to try a little bit more of that. Though you're really a positive evaluator, you make us feel good. So thank you for doing that, Dawn. As far as evaluations go, I'm done for today. And I would like to turn this back over to Dawn to close out the meeting for today.
Thank you, Andrea. And before I close out, I'd like to ask our guest, Julie, how she enjoyed our meeting. And, let us know where you're joining us from, too. We didn't ask you that at the very beginning, which I forgot. I know that you are in Europe somewhere. But, yeah, go ahead, Julie.
Okay, yes, I am European, but I live now in London. So I am joining from London, and it was 5 o'clock here, when suddenly I looked at my mail and I seen the invitation.
Nice.
And I really enjoyed the meeting. I am very happy to see Mark again, who was my mentee for some time in Pathway. I really enjoyed meeting all of you.
Wonderful.
I will try to come again.
Well, wonderful. Thank you, Julie. And where did you say you're from? You said that you are in London now, but you're originally from somewhere else?
Yes, I am a Hungarian from Romania who lived 35 years in France.
Wow. You're a global Toastmaster all on yourself. So
I and 3 years in Washington, D.C. I am, but I am European, as I told you.
Nice.
So many different countries in Europe, and English is my first language.
Wow. Well, thank you very much. And at this time, I think if we're all ready, I'm going to stop the recording. And I am